Hey, everybody. Just make sure before you get into this episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell so that way you can be notified every week that we drop a new episode. Thanks so much. Now let's get into the episode.
This that block talk. This that block talk. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. Ain't made of the cop car. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. Ain't made of the cop car. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. Ain't made of the cop car. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. Ain't made of the cop car. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. Ain't made of the cop car. This that block talk. Block face down now, line nigga chop talk. Ain't made of the cop car.
When the fuck do they want as a man to get slapped, to get spit? I think spit on a different level. No, I know, but I'm saying to me, in my mind, the spit is just there.
Don Lemon. He got fired. Hey, sometimes that type shit just happened though. You know what I mean? It's like
shit happens, man. You gotta roll with the punches.
yeah, it's nice. You know what I mean? Just to like surprise, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want this either.
But doesn't she know it's Wednesday? Like she's got to know. Hey, you know what? This is daddy time.
Well, see, because I just tell her that I'm like, because she don't know what podcast is. So the way I just explain it, I'm like, I'm just gonna talk to my friend from Reno, and then she's like, oh, that's so nice. Y'all stay in touch. I'm like, yeah. But because like, and this is how I found out. I tried to explain to her, right? I was like, oh, I'm listening, because she's like, oh, what you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm listening to a podcast right now. And then she's like, what is that? And I'm like, never mind. I'm like, I'm watching the show, and that's just how I explain it. So when I explained what we're doing, I'm like, I'm not finna explain this whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not finna try to explain you what a podcast is. Like, this is America. You know what I mean?
And it's funny because my primary, she knows, fucking, I'm talking to Mistress Dos. So, and that's what she names you. She named you, your Mistress 2, and, Jared is Mistress 1 because I known him longer. You're always giving them those guys all that other time. I was like, hey, they're my fucking friends. They're like, well, they're just some mistresses because, blah, blah, blah. So she's got all kind of nicknames for everybody that, other people I see or hang out with or talk to. So, the other women are just hobgoblins.
Right? You know what I mean? Because they do the nasty shit that the main bitch won't. So there you go. I don't mind being a side bitch. That's right, Jared. I swallow, bud. No, I'm playing. Oh man, I used to make that joke all the time with my sister, just fucking with her. I used to tell her all the time, I was like, man, you know why God didn't make me no woman? She's like, why? I was like, God would make me a bad bitch, son. And these niggas would be in trouble. Because I swallow. I'm talking about, like, I'd have all the niggas' money. I'm like, I'd be a housewife like a motherfucker. I'd be getting all my little old bread.
Sit at home, paint my nails.
What? Not do a bitch ass thing. Hire a maid. I don't have to do shit. So
right.
Sit there, look pretty, and suck dick every once in a while. Oh, woe is me. Oh, I was saying, man, wouldn't be complaining. I'm like, you hear yourself? Oh no, I have to have sex. All my bills are paid.
Boo-hoo.
So see, like, shut up. Yeah,
I'm not like
feel
that.
bad for me. Yeah, blow it out your ass. Yeah, man. Wow. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another exciting week of Block Talk, your favorite podcast. Now, your only favorite podcast, because as y'all found out last week, Sucius, my favorite, has been murdered. And Guile took it out back behind the shed and shot it right in the back of the head.
It's too much work, and this is a lot more fun than doing it by yourself. But going solo on a podcast is hard work, and not hard in the sense of like it's too much work. It's just difficult to keep going. You're sitting there, blah, 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 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Are you kidding? It felt like 2 hours, you know? So
Feels like you've been rambling for like a hot ass minute. I'm talking about like rambling, like you going hard to paint, and you're like, man, I got 30 minutes of great content right there. And then you look at the timer and it's like 3:32, and it's like, oh no, shoot me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, I still have to fill more time. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. I had a great time. But yeah, y'all are getting this episode because Guy in the H right now, baby, representing. And we're just probably getting drunk, having a blast. So this is pre-recorded, and you'll be okay because this topic spans centuries, so it will always be relevant. Since the beginning of time, Adam had a long-term friend with benefits. Now, granted, it was his daughter, but we're not gonna look down on him for that.
we're going to hell. Well, no, I'm not. I'm in the book of life, so I'm good.
I'm going to hell. I don't give a fuck. I just hope they got sunscreen. Because I don't tan. I burn. So
You're
yeah,
one of those Latinos.
we're talking about.
Poor you.
It's not my fault. My grandfather was a Spaniard. The fuck. He was one of the rapers, not the rapees. So I didn't get the like dark skin. I got the fair skin.
Oh,
Is that wrong?
No,
Is
but
that
you're
bad
gonna,
to
get
say?
you're gonna get us canceled if they could cancel us,
It's historically accurate. Listen, we
Yeah.
already lost one podcast, guy. What's two?
right? Okay.
Listen, man, I believe you cancel yourself. You can't get canceled. I'm like Will Smith, bro. I can slap Chris Rock and still get away with it.
Yeah, but where is he now?
Yeah, long-term friend with benefits and female friends. I'm gonna let Guy lead this one off because I lead off every.
So yeah, it kind of goes back a little bit to whether or not males and females can be friends, and for the most part, no. Like, I wouldn't want my girlfriend to have any male friends because I know how males usually are. Very few males can remain friends with the woman even after they've hooked up and, keep it cordial, keep it platonic during that relationship. Like I mentioned last week, my friend that had her boyfriend that went through her phone. Whenever me and her talk, it's random stuff like, hey, let's go out to eat. Let's try this restaurant. Let's whatever. Or let's catch up. Or I have a friend that's looking for real estate. Do you have one of your hookups or connects that you can talk to them for? So it's platonic. But also, I realized that women in general, at least the ones that I've hooked up with in the past, they are, let's see, what's the word? When I used to hook up with women, I used to just treat them like dog shit. I just didn't care. I would just use them just for sex and use them as toys, treat them as objects. And women do enjoy that when it's just in the bedroom. Outside of the bedroom, they want to be seen and treated as a human being. And I didn't do that. Back in the day, like 15 plus years ago, I would just use them and abuse them and didn't care about their feelings, didn't even treat them like human. Like, if they're not around, fine, I can find someone else. And once I realized I was an intercourse addict, and started going through all that process and realizing, hey, women are human beings and don't want to be used like this all the time, I started treating them well outside of sex and have been able to remain friendly with these women even for the past 15 years. That even though we're not having sex, we haven't had sex in 5 or 6 years, we can still be cordial. We can still keep each other kind of posted of what's going on in our lives, whether they're married, divorced, remarried, single again, widowed, whatever's going on with them, we still keep in touch. And if we happen to be single at the same time, or if we happen to be in the same city and I have, one of my hall passes, then yeah, we'll go and play. But it's still at a basis friends with benefits. And most of the time it's just friends with occasional benefits. And women are open to that. At least in my experience, women are very open to doing that and remaining that way as long as you treat them as human beings.
Yeah, I've had that before, man. Where like I'll just have like a, as you call them, I have like a primary, and I just let her know. I'm like, listen, man, like I like fucking like a lot, and like I need to fuck a lot. So I'll be like, listen, it's not gonna be any like I'm not gonna get into another relationship. I'm just gonna be fucking tons of whores, and then most of the time she'll be like, that's cool, man. Like I understand. And he's just like, I can't give it to you as much as you wanted, so I appreciate it. I'm like, good. And then it goes fucking great, man. So like I've definitely had like a girl and then friend with benefits and shit like that. And then like, but there's definitely been situations like the opposite way. I'm not with it. I'm not fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, and I'm not saying that some dudes don't allow it. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. But for Boogie, me myself, I'm not gonna allow that shit. Where like my girl wants to like hook up with random dudes. I'm like, nah, son. I'm good. I'm not fucking with it. Cause I'm be like, if you want that, you can just go fuck somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Or we could just keep fucking like casually, and we won't be together. Cause there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you want to hook up with me and then hook up with other dudes, by all means. You know what I'm saying? Just know I'm gonna be wrapping it up, and we're gonna be cool. Like we're gonna be straight. But I'm not gonna do none of this relationship with you. I'm not gonna be laid up with you. I'm not gonna be cuddling with you. I'm not buying you a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be, for like, you finna be like my partner. That's it. My partners pay for their own shit. You just a partner I fuck every once in a while.
That is an extreme form of it. Yeah, and with the same with trying to have relationships or whatever. Like one of the big things is no kids. Like if you have a kid and you want to be in a relationship with me, that kid better be 17 and a half, like 1 foot out the door. And I still don't want to ever meet them. I still don't want to talk to them. I don't want to know their names. I never want to have any interactions with your kids. My interaction is just with you. My relationship is just with you. And some women are like, oh my God, why do you hate kids? I was like, I'm not fucking them. So what's their use to me? What's their purpose? They're going to cost me money if we hang out or do anything else. And I'm not getting any benefit. So why should I throw my money away at that? So for the most part, those women that have kids are just friends with benefits. Um, and over time, we become more friendly and less benefits because we just kind of like lose track or, I move, she moves, whatever. But, like you said, that everybody pays their own way because we're just having sex. We're just hooking up. There's not that potential for a relationship because I'm not going to tie myself down or lock myself down to a person that I have to be a parent with or whatever. That's not my style. I don't even like my kid, and he's already 23 and out the house. So fuck your kids.
Yeah, it's like, see, I view that stance differently, but only because of like I'm in a very, I would say, special situation. You know what I mean? Because it's like, so since I can't have kids, you know what I mean? So for me, I do make an exception for like women that have kids and shit like that. Because for me, it's a lot more difficult. Because I'm like, if I do want a family, it's either got to be like an already made family. But like you said though, it does make me more cautious, and then I'm always more cautious about meeting the kid because I'm like, again, the dude loses out a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because if for whatever reason we break up, like you got no rights to see this kid whatsoever. Like you're just like legitimately cut all the way out this child's life, and ain't shit you could do about it. You just got to sit there and be sad. And now you don't made a connection with this kid that's not yours, and you know what I'm saying? They're hurt, you're hurt, and they just move on. They're gonna date somebody else because they still gonna look for a father figure for their kids, and then you're just there like, oh, what was me? So I do make an exception, but that's why like I try now, especially because I made that mistake one time where I met this girl's kid like really early on, and then I got really attached to him, and then when we broke up, like it fucking sucked. So now I'm just like, hey, I don't want to meet them. I don't want to have that many interactions with them because I've already been down this road type shit, and I'm not trying to do it again. So I always try to keep that in mind. But that's like I said, that's an exception I have, and that's because I'm in a medical position where it's like I had no choice. Because if I could, honestly, if I could have kids, I don't think I would ever date a woman that had children. But only because again, it's like it's a lot of responsibility. Raising a child is not your own, especially like with boys. Most of the time, they tend not to respect you as much. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the beginning. And then three, you're also taking on the financial responsibility now, not only of a partner, but also however X amount of kids she may have. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these are all things that you got to take into effect as a single man. And I know a lot of guys don't really think that because now, especially like again in simple culture, they'll be like, "Oh, that's just not a real man, girl. Don't worry, I'm a real man. I'll take care of you and your kids." And I'm like, well, then you have fun because while I'm busting her guts out, you take care of them kids, boy. You a great babysitter.
Yeah, I've been that asshole where and not even intentionally, just that the girl comes over like, yeah, my baby daddy's watching the kids tonight, so I can stay the whole night. It's like, you can, but you're not. I'm gonna get my nut, and if I like what we're doing, I might go another round, but yeah, you're not staying here past midnight because I got to get up early for work, or I'm expecting something else coming in later. So yeah, no, you're not going to be here all night. Of course, I don't say it that way. I let them know, oh, you know what? I'm had a long day. I'm tired. I only have maybe one round in me, or I have 1 hour in me, and I'm about to go to sleep. Of course, they fucking leave, and then someone else texts me at 2, or I go find them at 2, or whatever. But it's never. Um, I guess you could say I just don't respect women with kids, and it's not anything against women, period. Because yeah, there's situations where a woman's a widow. Fine, it's not her fault that she's got kids, that she's stuck without a father figure for their kids. The husband died, but then there's other situations. The ones where they have 5 baby daddies and 3 kids. I'm like, you know what? That's too much drama. I don't need any drama in my life. Like, if you have an ex-husband, okay, I could probably deal with that, but I don't want to. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't waste my time and my resources with you when you couldn't make your relationship work with your husband or in your past. So that's why I prefer. Usually, I end up either being with early 20-year-old women and mid 30s, mid 30s to late 40s, because by then their kids are out of the house, or these younger girls haven't had any kids, don't have any kids, or have very young children that aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever in their life can watch them while they come out and play.
Yeah, that's wild, son. You know, I noticed it's like the people with the most baggage always expect you to just like handle their baggage for them. It's like, hey, my car's already loaded up with all my shit that I've taken care of because I'm an adult. And now you come up over here with your 6 bags talking about like, I can't do it myself. You need to pick these bags up for me. And it's like, that's not my fucking job, yo. And a lot of people don't really view it like that because they're like, oh, a partnership is about lifting the weight together. And I'm like, that sounds good in theory, but in practice and in actuality, that's never what happens, yo. It's always, again, because most women, they tend not to want a dude that has really any baggage, but especially excessive baggage. You know what I'm saying? But women tend to overlook certain things that a man won't overlook. Because I know plenty of women that'll date a single father. You know what I'm saying? Like, because to them it's not a problem because they know, like, financially, I'm not responsible for these kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck about them. So it's just different. You know what I mean? But like I said, I notice a lot of women that tend to have a lot of baggage tend to want you to forgive that baggage because they're like, but I'm a great person and you can help me pick this stuff up. And it's like, do I want to though? Like, do I look like a fucking bellhop? You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, sometimes, because man, now, like, without a girlfriend that, like, I've officially given the title to, I've been single, like, going on 4 years now. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of get to, like, long term casual things or, like, long term friends with benefits. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I'm different because, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I don't have any female friends, but because I know I don't want no friendship. I remember this happened with my mom, right? It was funny as shit. My mom told me, so we got this girl that lives next door, right? Hot ass fucking chick. And but her dad is like super cool, right? And her dad works with my dad. So out of respect, I promised I was like, oh, I'm not gonna sleep with her. You know what I'm saying? So then my mom one day she saw like that girl trying to change her oil or whatever, and she's like, oh, Boogie, you should go help her change her oil. I said, fuck for, what do I get out of that? And she's like, you just have to get something. I'm like, that's the only reason I talk to women is the fuck. I'm like, what? And then she's like, so that's the only time you talk to women. And she's like, what about your cousins and your mom? And I was like, that's dumb. First off, like, I'm related to y'all. Obviously, I talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying? You're my fucking mom, my sister, my cousins, whatever. That's different. I'm saying I don't have any platonic female friends. I was like, because I'm at a stage in my life where if I talk to a woman, it's because I want to fuck her. It's not because I want to make casual conversation and value her friendship. I'm like, no, bro, I don't give a fuck. So it was just funny because my mom got super mad at me. She's like, I can't believe you won't go help that poor girl. She's 18. She's like, you won't help that poor 18-year-old girl. I was like, first off, when you say it, it sounds like the beginning of a porno. Secondly, I'm like, I'm like, listen, son, like, it ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna change my mind. So what's the big deal? Who gives a fuck? Is it? I'm the one that's being asked to help. I don't want to help, therefore I'm not gonna, and that's okay. Don't feel forced to help women. You ain't gotta be Captain Save a Ho. I know I'm dressed like Batman, but that don't mean I'm a fucking superhero.
Well, see, so your stance is not to be friends with women. And see, I don't know when I change my mind on it. But I do know that I would remain friends with women whether I'd hooked up with them or not. Not because, oh, I enjoy the friendship or it's the greatest thing ever, but because I play the long game. I have all that patience. I am a manipulator, or at least I was an active manipulator. I can still manipulate now in my mind, but it's more of like me playing chess mentally and like, oh yeah, I could probably get them to do this. I could probably get them to do that. But um, my goal back in the day was, okay, maybe I won't fuck this chick because she has a lot of hot friends and she always has a lot of hot friends. They don't stick around that long. So if I fuck one of them, doesn't matter because she won't get mad at me for fucking her friends because that friend's going to drop off no matter what. Because most, at least these particular women, don't have lasting relationships. They're kind of frivolous, you know. Oh, hey, we work at Forever 21 together. Oh my God, let's go out clubbing all the time. And then she quits Forever 21 and she goes out clubbing with them 2 or 3 more times and then goes out clubbing with her new coworkers. And then so that's how those things kind of fall off. Or now she's at Starbucks and, you know, they go out do whatever. So that's when it works out for me to be able to remain friendly with them because I can use them to get access to their friends. And of course, by being friendly with this woman, in a sense, it's that validation that, oh, hey, you know, he can have female friends around him or females around him. He's not a total creep. You lose points in a sense whenever you have female friends that you're not fucking because in their eyes, oh, well, if she doesn't want to fuck him, why should I fuck him? But that's where just having that doorway open or basically having my foot in the door where they can't shut me out because they're hanging out with their friend. The female is also my friend. So by being around them, they have to put up with me. But then they realize that I'm funny, charming, charismatic, whatever, and can carry a conversation. And whether or not I hook up with them, it doesn't matter. I can go find and talk to other women at a bar or a club or wherever we're at. And then they're like, oh shit, other women are interested in him because the other women see me with these group of women. And, you know, kind of like it's a snowball effect. And then eventually they do their cat fighting, but not cat fighting. Um, what is it? Not cock blocking, but when women kind of like put each other down to try to, you know, they keep throwing each other under the bus to try to make themselves look better, and they'll do that to try to, you know, like basically, oh, you don't want to fuck my friend because you know she had herpes last year, or you don't want to fuck this friend because you know she's got 2 kids, or whatever. You know, let's just say stupid shit. And I said, oh, I'm not gonna fuck you. I'm just gonna fuck your mouth, or I'm gonna fuck your face, or whatever. You know, just stupid shit that I throw out there, and then gauging their reactions to see who's most interested. And it's using women to have access to their women friends. So that's why I stay friendly with former partners.
But see that's what I'm saying though. You see what I mean? Like that proves my point exactly. It's like you're their friend because you're playing the long game, right? I just don't have the patience for the long game, like right now. But just because like my short game is like a samurai sword, my shit is finally honed right now to where like I don't feel like I want to put in the investment for a long game. And I'm not saying that eventually I won't, but I'm just saying like that most of the time the reason I if I initiate a conversation with a woman that's outside of like my family, my job, or some shit like that, it's usually just sex. It's like, listen, I don't want to talk to you because I thought that you had a great personality. It's like, no, man, I saw that big ass dump truck you had back there, and I wanted to come introduce myself so I can get to know that thing a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? But people love to lie to themselves, like, oh no, I approached her. I remember one time, man, I was at a party, right? It was my friend, shout out to Neto. It was my friend Neto's birthday, and I seen this girl that I seen since high school, and I was like, "Oh, hey man, it's good to see you again." She there with her man or whatever, and I said, "I want to ask y'all a question. I want y'all to be honest." And he's like, "All right." So I asked him. I was like, "I want you to be honest with me, man." He's like, "What made you go up and talk to her?" And he's like, "Well, she seemed, smart and caring, and she was obviously beautiful." And then as soon as he finished, I was like, what attracted you to him? And she's like, well, he already had a job, he had money, so I knew that he could provide. I saw that he was like in school for a good career choice, so I knew that financially we'd be stable. Like she was being honest, and I'm like, you see what I'm saying? I'm like, dog, women are honest about why they're attracted to men. I said, but men feel like they got to play this simp ass game where they're like, it was the glow in her eye from getting a higher education. It's like, don't nobody give a fuck, son. You saw that ass, son. You saw that ass, and you was like, oh, I got to go holler at that thing. And that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But that's my thing is like, because to me, I call it creep game, even though it's simp game. And I'm not saying it don't work because it definitely does. And I've seen it work in action. You know what I mean? But to me, it's like I'm good, son. Like I don't. I, me personally, in my life where I'm at right now, I don't want any female friends, and I'm not saying that you can't be friends with females, but sometimes, at least most of the times, from what I've witnessed, like you said, it's a guy trying to play the long game, or a guy who has already fucked this girl, and then they just didn't want nothing else more serious, so they just kind of like started to get to know each other, and they just became more and more friendly, and then they ended up becoming friends, but only after that sexual tension was gone. Because I know somebody personally who they're friends with a girl right now, and they used to fuck back in the gap, and now they don't anymore, and they're just cool. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that, but don't lie to me and be like, because I remember, man, I was talking to him and he fought me tooth and nail. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, men and women can totally be friends." And I said, "You're all cap." And then he's like, "I'm friends with this girl," and I was like, "You told me you fucked her like back in high school," and he's like, "Yeah, but that's irrelevant. We're friends now." And I was like, "That's totally relevant, son. Like that's completely relevant to the situation."
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go and be friends with a woman off the muscle. Like I'm not gonna go talk to a woman to become her friend. I'm gonna go talk to a woman to hook up with her, unless I know that she has a group of hot friends. Then it's still to use her to get to her friends to fuck them. It's never, oh, I'm going to go talk to this woman, just be friends with her, never try to hook up with her friends, only try to be friends with her friends to show the world that I can be friends with women. Like that's, so yeah, totally. I agree with that, that it's never just to be friends. Let's see, am I friends with anyone? I mean, technically through roller derby, um, I have female friends that way. Um, but still, through that, I still kind of get laid through their friends or through the women there, but it's not intentional. So it's kind of more, it's possible you could say.
Because that's the other thing too. Like I'll sometimes like talk to women and use them like as a like kind of like I don't want to say a wingman because I don't know why women think sometimes that they're good wingmen and they're not. But I just use them sort of like as a channel almost as a wingman. But they're not the wingman. I'm basically using them without them knowing. You know what I'm saying? To be my wingman, and it's insane because that's crazy, bro. I told this one girl. I remember I told her I was like, "Women aren't good wingmen," and they're like, "Oh, that's not true. I could totally get you women," and I'm like, "You're retarded." I was like, "No, you can't. Like, y'all ain't got no game, son, because y'all don't have to have game, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?" Because I remember one time, man, I was sleeping with this chick, and I told her, I said, "Hey, I want to fuck other women or whatever." You know what I'm saying? We had that conversation, and she's like, "No, yeah, that's no problem." I said, "What if I wanted you to give me another girl? Would you grab her for me?" And she's like, at least she was honest. She's like, "I don't know how I would do that, but I would try." And I'm like, in the back of my head, I didn't actually want her to do that, but it's just like I was thinking in my head, I was like, I just want to see if she'd be willing to try that. And like I said, I knew most likely she would fail because I'm like, bro, you got no experience doing this, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I hang out with friends that suck with women sometimes. I don't go out with them, but I hang out with them.
Yeah, that like you've said before about the whole women, it's easier for a woman to pick up another woman whenever they're trying to hook up or even mess around because most women can go into the restroom with another woman and, oh my God, your boobs look great in that dress, and just grab their boobs, or oh my God, your lips so pretty, and just give them a kiss. And that's cool. Like girls just, oh haha, giggle about it because they're drunk, whatever. Or even if they're not drunk, even if they're sober, buzzed, whatever, women can get away with doing that. No guy can just go up to a girl and say, oh my God, your boobs look great, and grab them unless he is flamboyantly gay. Um, and so that's that's kind of a trick I do whenever I go with a girl to go to some lingerie store, or just any store wherever she's going to try on clothes. I use an excuse. I pretend, outside that I'm, this flamboyantly gay guy that's going to help her try on all these dresses, and then I'll peek my head up. Oh, girl, you need to get her a size 6. And find. Do you have this in a pink and in a blue? Okay. Can you get this for us? I'm talking to the employee if she can go grab us something, and while they're walking away, I'm over there getting slobbed, or I'm slipping it in and holding her mouth so she doesn't say anything or make any noises. But at the end of the day, it's still, guys can't get away with what women can when they're trying to just randomly hook up with any woman that they don't even know their name.
Yeah, that shit will never happen. And if it does ever happen, the world will split asunder because that shit don't ever happen, man. But hey. It is what it is. But we thank you guys for joining us for this shorter fill-in episode for this week. And next week, we'll be able to bring you a regular episode that you could enjoy. Thank you so much. And remember, Gallo Killed Sucias are my favorite. So now, Block Talk is your favorite podcast. Force it on everyone that you know. Like it, share it, send it to your grandmother so she can be appalled and disown you. Thank you, and good night.